We are talking this morning about two very different pictures. This is the deadly insurrection ceremony that we are expecting to have happen here any moment now. 1 year later, the president and vice president, as well as members of Congress, will be marking January 6th and the insurrection with a solemn ceremony. Again, in just moments, the president is going to be addressing the nation from the Capitol building, reflecting on that deadly attack. More than 725 people from nearly all 50 states and the District of Columbia have been arrested. We know that five Capitol police officers died either during that riot or since that riot. And we have crews around Washington awaiting the president's speech right now. We are joined by Joe Khalil and Allison Harris, who have always been there on the precipice of all the things happening in Washington. And Joe actually was there in person during that now infamous insurrection a year ago. But let's start with our Allison Harris. Allison, what can we expect today?
Adrian, simply put, it's a dark day here in Washington. Even Republican Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell putting out a statement this morning saying it's a dark day for Congress and for our country. We're waiting to hear from President Biden and Vice President Harris. They will be speaking from Statuary Hall. You showed moments ago an image, a live shot of where the president will be speaking there. And people might remember watching on live television Statuary Hall as the mob moved through that room and protesters gathered in that hall. There was even blood smeared on the face of the bust of former President Zachary Taylor. That's going to be the backdrop for the president's remarks today. You can see it there on your screen. President Biden is going to urge Americans to reject the lies and believe what they saw with their eyes play out on television that day. The violence, the insurrection. He's going to talk about the threat that existed that day to democracy and to the rule of law. We hear the president talk over and over again about how this country is in a battle for the soul of America. This is a president who campaigned on unity, who wanted to bring together this country and was sworn in just days after what happened, this intensity of showing the display of the severe political divide in this country on January 6th. We expect the president to refer to former President Donald Trump by name today, putting the blame for what happened on January 6, 2021, singularly and squarely on the shoulders of former President Donald Trump, blaming him for misleading his voters and his supporters that the election was stolen, that it was fraudulent, even though there have been more than 60 courts that have said there wasn't voter fraud, the election wasn't stolen, there wasn't widespread fraudulence in the election. There have been Republican election officials in several states that have recounted ballots. There have been several investigations, and there's no evidence that suggests the election was stolen. I have some excerpts I want to read to you from some of the questions the president's expected to pose today. He's going to say, and so at this moment, we must decide what kind of nation we're going to be. Are we going to be a nation that accepts political violence as a norm? Are we going to be a nation where we allow partisan election officials to overturn the legally expressed will of the people? And Adrian, I mentioned McConnell has also put out a statement this morning saying, in part, the United States Capitol, the seat of the first branch of our federal government, was stormed by criminals who brutalized police officers and used force to try to stop Congress from doing its job. This disgraceful scene was antithetical to the rule of law. So we're expecting to hear from the president and vice president. I can tell you Vice President Harris, she's expected to talk about that this was an assault on democracy and also pivot toward the importance of strengthening voting rights in this country. You're hearing McConnell say Democrats should not use this day to advance their policy agenda, but she is going to focus on the need to strengthen voting rights and then kind of preview a trip that's planned for next week for President Biden and Vice President Harris going to Georgia to talk about voting rights. But today is focused on, what happened 1 year ago. And we know that President Biden will not mince words talking about this country is still in a battle for the soul of America.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.